For today's lesson, we're going to take a look at direct and inverse variation. All right, so this is SOL A.8. The student, given a data set or practical situation, will analyze a relation to determine whether a direct or inverse variation exists and will represent a direct variation algebraically and graphically and an inverse variation algebraically. All right. And then we also have our I can statements along with our vocabulary. So let's jump right in. So we're going to start off by defining a direct variation. So a direct variation is a specific relationship in which there is a constant ratio. And that ratio we have y over x between all ordered pairs. Direct variation equations are written in the form y equals kx. All right. So remember, we just came out of writing our equations unit where we were writing equations in the form of y equals mx plus b. Direct variation has similar equation except for the fact of we use k to represent that constant. And also along with that, you see there's no b, and that is because the y-intercept is 0. So if we take a look down here at the example, I'm going to slide it over just a little bit. We see the graph. The graph is linear. It's a positive slope, and the y-intercept is 0, hence why we have the kx, because we don't need to write the plus 0. K represents the constant of variation. And dividing the y's by the x's, so similar to how we find slope, you have y over x. We use that for direct variation. All right, so let's get into some examples. So here it says, identify the constant of variation and then write the direct variation equation to represent the relationship. All right, so we know that direct variation uses the equation y equals kx, where k is the constant. All right. All right, so remember that coordinate points are written in the form x, y. And remember to find the constant k for direct variation. It's y over x. All right, so we're going to sit here and we're going to take our y value and put it over x, which that gives us negative 1/5. Zero, zero, we know nothing happens there. And then we have our negative 2 over 10, which gives us negative 1/5. So we get negative 1/5. So I know in the previous slide we said that it's always positive. There will be situations where your direct variation will be negative. You're going to look more so into that in further math classes, but you will have situations where it can be negative. All right, let's look at the table. Doing the exact same thing, we're going to put our y values over our x values. So if we have negative 12 over negative 6, that is going to give us a positive 2. Negative 2 over negative 1 gives us a positive 2. 4 divided by 2 gives us a positive 2. And 8 divided by 4 gives us a positive 2. And jumping back over here, so our equation for number 1 would be negative 1/5 x. And remember, because the direct variation always goes to the point 0, 0, because this y-intercept is 0. For number 2, we know our constant k is 2, so we have y equals 2x. We're doing the exact same thing for the table, taking our y value and putting it over our x. So we have negative 16 over negative 12, which they are both divisible by 4. So dividing both of those by 4, we get negative 4 over 3, over negative 3, which is equal to 4/3. If we do negative 8 over negative 6, we also get 4/3, and 4 over 3 is 4/3. So the constant is 4/3, and the equation is y equals 4/3 x. All right. For number 4, I want you to pause the video, and I want you to tell me the constant and the equation. All right, so looking here, we have 7 over negative 7, which is going to give me a negative 1, 4 over negative 4, which is going to give me a negative 1, and negative 2 over 2, which is going to give me negative 1. So the constant is negative 1, and we have y equals negative x. All right. Now let's go ahead for this one. It says identify the equations below that represent a direct variation? If yes, then identify the constant of variation. All right, so number 5 is yes, because we know we have the equation in the form y equals kx. So this is yes, and our constant k is equal to negative 2/5. For number 6 is going to be no, and it's because we have this y-intercept of 1. We can solve number 7 by dividing it by 2, and we get y equals 3x. And this is going to be yes, where our constant k is 3. And then we can definitely see on the last one, we can solve it and see if we get the values if we subtract x on both sides. Divide both sides by 3, and we get y equals 5 minus 1/3 x, so this is no. All right, so remember, if we go back and we look at the tables, we can see that on the tables or in the ordered pairs, we see the point 0, 0. So looking here, you see 0, 0, you see 0, 0, you see 0, 0, all right? So since the y-intercept is 0, a direct variation always goes through the origin. So we can see here for number 1, so it says identify the graphs below that represent a direct variation. If yes, what is the constant of variation? All right, so looking at number 9, I can definitely see that this graph goes through the origin, and we can definitely use our knowledge of slope to find our y over our x. So we're going to rise 1, 2, 3. So our rise is going to be 3. Our run is going to be 4. So our constant k is equal to 3 over 4. And it's going to be negative because it is decreasing. All right. We can see with number 10, it does not go through the origin, so that is a no. And for number 11, we can definitely say that's a direct variation because it goes through the origin. Finding our points, we're going to rise 3 and run 1, so our constant k is going to be 3. All right. So now we're going to determine if the points represent a direct variation, or if they represent a direct variation, we're going to find the missing value. All right. So that's why we talk about the constant of proportionality. That's how you can see we have the linear equation. So using what we know about finding the constant k, we have y over x is equal to y over x. And that's how we figure out our constant of proportionality. So looking here, I have my y value of 28 over the x value that we're looking for, and 14 over 5. So remember, when we solve proportions, we just simply cross multiply, or some people use the butterfly, call it the butterfly method. So I'm going to multiply 14 times x, and then 28 times 5. All right, so I get 14x is equal to 140. We're going to divide both sides by 14, and we get that x is equal to 10. All right, we're just going to skip on down to 14, go right below. So in this case, we're looking for y. So we're doing the exact same thing. So we have 12 over negative 18 is equal to y over negative 3. We're going to cross multiply, so we have negative 18y is equal to 12 times negative 3. We get negative 18y is equal to negative 36. Divide both sides by negative 18, and we get that y is equal to 2. All right. Now we're going to look at number 16. So number 16 is exact same thing, but except for it just didn't give us in the traditional coordinate or ordered pair form. It gives us just x equals y equals. So it says find y when x is 14 if y is equal to -3 when x equals -6. So again, we have 14 over y is equal to, I switched those up completely. We have y over 14 is equal to -3 over 6. We're going to cross multiply. 6y is equal to 14 times 3 times a -3. So we get y is equal to -42. Divide both sides by 6. Y is equal to -7. All right. So now what I want you to do is pause the video and work on 13, 15, 17. Once you are finished with them, bring them to me to check, and then you can move on to inverse variation. All right, so now let's take a look at inverse variation. All right, and inverse variation is a specific relationship in which there is a constant product, which is x, y, between all ordered pairs. Inverse variation equations are written in the form y equals k divided by x. All right, so we can look at the graph. I'm going to go ahead and add this little piece there. It calls it an inverse variation because we can see that the graph is going in two different directions. All right, again, the equation, we have k over x. Again, it can be negative as well, but mostly in Algebra 1 we focus on positive, but it can be negative. And then to find the constant k, you multiply your x and y versus looking at the proportion of, or the ratio of x to y. All right, so for the examples, identify the constant of the ordered pairs, then write an equation to represent. So remember, the equation of an inverse variation is y equals k divided by x. All right, remember, we find the constant k by multiplying x times y. All right, so here we see that 1 times 20 is 20, 2 times 10 is 20, and 4 times 5 is 20. So my k is going to be 20, which makes my equation y equals 20 over x. For number 2, I have -28 times 1, which is -28, -14 times 2, which is -28, and -7 times 4, which is -28. So my constant k is -28. So I have y is equal to -28 over x. All right. So looking here, I have negative 5 times 2.4, which is going to give me -12. -3 times 4, which is going to give me a -12. -2 times 6, which is going to give me a -12. And also -1 times 12, which is going to give me -12. So my constant k is going to be -12, which makes my equation -12 over x. And last but not least, we have -0.5 times -12, which gives me 6. -1 times -6, which gives me 6. -1.5 times 4, which gives me -6. And -2 times -3, which gives me 6. So my constant k is going to be 6. And my equation is going to be 6 over x. All right, so we're not going to focus too much, or we're not going to focus on the graph, because you will not have to graph an inverse variation. But just for an example, again, there's negatives and positives. So here it tells me that the constant of variation is 16. So that means x times y is going to equal 16. So if I just make a quick graph, again, this is nothing that you have to do for the SOL, because again, we only focus on a direct variation, the graph of a direct variation. So I just come up with some values here for my table on the positive side, and also come up with some values on the left side. I'm coming up with values that equal my constant of 16. So if you see on the negative side, this table that I'm creating now, I have to have values that when I multiply my x and y, give me a positive 16. And then I just simply plot the coordinate points. So starting with this first graph here, I have 1, 16, which is going to be about here. I have 2, 8, 4, 4, 8, 2, and 16, 1. So we can kind of see even though my line is not perfect. I apologize. All right. We'll see kind of how the graphs inversely, they go in opposite directions. Again, looking at the negative. So I have negative 116. It's going to come down here about right there. Negative 2, 8. 4, negative 4. 8, negative 2. And then 16, negative 1, or 16, negative 1. Just going to be about right there. So we can see that our graphs are going in opposite directions. So again, you will not have to graph this, but this is just an example. The only graph we really focus on in Algebra 1 is the graph of a direct variation. All right. So just like a direct variation, we have to find missing values. All right. So looking here, in order to find the constant or to find the missing value, we use our constant, which is xy, is equal to xy. All right, so remember, the inverse variation is a product of the xy, of x times y. All right, so here we're going to have 12 times 4 is equal to negative 24 times y. 12 times 4 is going to give me 168, which is equal to negative 24y. Divide both sides by negative 24. And we get y is equal to negative 7. All right. Looking at number 9, just going to go down the row like we did in the previous example. We have 9y is equal to negative 18 times positive 6. 9y is equal to negative 108. Divide both sides by 9, and we get that y is equal to negative 12. All right, same as direct variation. Instead of giving us ordered pairs, it just shows us what x and y are equal to. So it says if y is equal to 9 when x is equal to negative 6, find x when y is equal to 3. So again, I have 9 times negative 6 is equal to 3 times x. Negative 54 is equal to 3x. Divide both sides by 3, and we get x is equal to negative 18. All right. Same for number 13. So we're going to have 12 times negative 6 is equal to negative 24 times x. Negative 72 is equal to negative 24x divided by negative 24, and we get that x is equal to 3. All right, and you can always check yourself by multiplying your x value with your y value, especially in inverse variation, because it is the product. All right, similar to direct variation, I want you to pause the video. And I want you to work on 8, 10, 12, and 14 and have me check your answers. All right, so now that you've had me check your answers for the inverse variation, I want you to go ahead and summarize what you've learned from today's lesson.